Hello everyone, my name is Toltrain, and today I'm going to be walking you through the Scratch Rain Generator one-page guide. So, as you can see here, this is the guide itself. You should also be able to find this file somewhere on the Whimsy website, or it'll be sent to you with this video. So I'm going to be going through that guide, through that one-page guide, and walking you through it with a video. So, to start, you're going to want to get a backdrop for your game. Doesn't really matter which backdrop you use, you can choose any one you want. For this, I'm going to choose this one. The next thing you're going to want to do is create an empty sprite. And how you do that is you drag your mouse, just hold your mouse over the choose a sprite button, and then click on the paintbrush. Then, in that menu, you're going to want to make some rain. So, change the color of your tool to blue. If you want, you can use the paintbrush, or you can use the line tool, which will be a bit more accurate. Then, just make some rain. Yeah, doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be rain-like. And there we go, there's some pretty good rain. So, it's not necessary, but I like to rename it to the correct, name. Then next, what you're going to want to do is make a cloud sprite. This isn't necessary, but it makes it look nice. How I do it is I make the rain sprite sort of gray, and I use the circle tool to make a bunch of circles so it looks like a cloud. So now we've got a cloud and a rain sprite. So if you just put the cloud up near the top there you go. For the next step, what we're going to want to do, go into the rain sprite and start adding the code. So first you're going to want to add a when the go flag is clicked. It's a very useful tool in Scratch. It means every time you press this flag here, whatever is underneath this little block right here will be activated and will start running. Next, you're going to want to add a block, a hide block. Now, what that'll do is now when you press the green flag, this sprite, the rain sprite, will disappear. That may seem counterproductive, but it'll become clear soon why we are doing that. Next, we're going to add a forever loop and a create clone of myself block and a wait block. So let me walk you through all this. A forever loop, fairly self-explanatory. When it's activated, it will just keep looping whatever's inside of it forever. And so now, when we press the flag, it'll hide the sprite, the rain sprite, and it'll start looping that little block forever. Now, what it's going to be looping is every 1 second at the moment, it'll be creating a clone of itself, waiting, and creating another clone. And you're going to want to change the number here from 1 second to 0.1. And that's all that. That code block is done. The next thing we're going to want to do is create a new block. So this little block here, it means every time a sprite starts as a clone, it'll do whatever is underneath that little block there. So underneath that, we're going to add the show block. What that'll do is every time something starts as a clone, it'll reappear. So that's why we were using the hide block before. And the next thing we're going to add is a go to block with a pick random block inside of it. You can find that down in operators. And we're going to want to change both of these. So the y coordinate, the one on the right there, is going to be 200. And the pit random is going to pick a random number between -200 and 200. So anywhere in between those two numbers. And real quick to explain what that'll do, every time that piece of code is ran, it will choose a random position on the top of the screen. Y200, that coordinate is right at the top of the screen. So every time that runs, the sprite will move to the top of the screen, but at a random position from left to right. So it could appear on the left side, or the right side, or in the middle, or anywhere in between. And then next, we're going to add a glide 1 second to XY, and then add a block that says X position. You can find that down at the bottom of motion. And then we're going to set the second number to -200. And you can just leave the 1 second as it is. Then delete this clone to the very bottom. So now what this should do, if it's all been done correctly, when you press the start button, the rain sprite will hide, and then it will start creating clones. It'll keep doing that until you stop the code. And those clones will, when they're created, they'll show themselves. They'll pick a random spot at the top of the screen, and then glide for 1 second all the way down to the bottom of the screen, and then delete themselves. So now let's play the code, and I'll show you how it works. And there we go. We've created rain in Scratch. Great job.